Welcome to Afra's Artifacts, where we do some archaeology of our own and dig into the queer side of Star Wars. I'm your host, Alia Morgaine, and it's so great to have you here. Well, today we're talking about a character who is super important in real life. Now, in canon, she's a minor character, but in real life, she's super important. So, in April of 2015, the adult novel Lords of the Sith by Paul S. Kemp was published. And in that book was the first portrayal of a queer character ever in canon. And that is the Imperial Moff, Delian Mors, who is a lesbian. So, first lesbian portrayal, but first queer portrayal, period, in the new canon. This story takes place 8 years after Revenge of the Sith and focuses mainly on Palpatine and Vader's relationship, but Mors is a relatively main character in the novel. And she is specifically the Imperial Moff of Ryloth, where the Twi'leks live. So what's frustrating about Moff Delian Mors and her being the first queer character in the new canon is that she's not a character you can look up to at all. She's not a role model. She's slightly relatable, and we'll get to that in a second video I'm going to do for today. But for now, let's just leave it at the fact that she is not to be looked up to at all. And why? Well, she is accustomed to vast luxury. She loves plush surroundings. She lives on a tropical moon of the planet instead of on Ryloth itself, in a palatial estate with pale green Twi'lek servants at her beck and call. Now that's bad, but this is what's really bad. Pale green servants because they match the surrounding trees. She chose the servants she chose because they match her decor. Ugh. Like, oh my goodness. That's so gross. So terrible. But beyond that, she is lazy. She uses spice regularly. And she never gets her hands dirty in local Ryloth politics, in local bureaucracy. She never gets her hands dirty. All actual administrative power has been handed to Colonel Belcor Dre, while Mors embezzles proceeds from Imperial mining operations and fraternizes with Hutts. Embezzles funds, has servants that match her decor, is lazy, uses spice all the time. I mean, even Palpatine notices these horrible things about her. He says to Vader, Delian Mors is many things, Lord Vader. Lazy, hedonistic, nihilistic. And then we get to the one positive trait of Delian Mors. But she is not and never will be a traitor to the Empire. So at least she's loyal. I mean, that's a good trait, to be loyal. But yeah, it's pretty bad. So to give you some context for the basic gist of the story, the basic plot line, the Emperor and Vader come to Ryloth aboard a Star Destroyer that gets attacked by Cham Syndulla and the Free Ryloth movement. So Hera's daddy. Vader and Palpatine end up crash landing on the planet with nobody knowing their whereabouts. None of the Imperials know where they are. And Mors knows it is her lack of involvement in planetary affairs that has led to such a grave miscalculation. So if she had been more involved, if she knew more of what was going on, then maybe she would have been able to stop this disaster. So a couple more things about why she's not really that much to be looked up to. So she may be loyal, but you'd think that a Moff would be spending their time figuring out resources, and how they can be best used. Figuring out how the planet itself could be utilized maybe as a waypoint, how they could best structure their government. I mean, there's so many different things that a Moff, it seems like, would be responsible for and should do to benefit the Empire. But she does none of that. She doesn't even know what's going on with the resources around her on Ryloth. So she is not to be looked up to. She's not a role model. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about why she is the way she is. What happened in her past, what tragedy that is relatable happened in her past that led her to be who she is in this novel. So, yeah, please comment down below on what you think about this unfortunate portrayal of a queer person as the first queer portrayal in canon. I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you disappointed? Are you upset? Do you think it's good that there's a variety of characters? Do you think maybe there should be a variety of characters, but why in the world do we have to start off with a bad one? What do you think? I really, really want to know. So remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at @AliaMorgain, and peruse my blog at thestarwarsreview.blogspot.com. And stay tuned for the next video coming up, which is going to be about why she is the way she is.